You're in the cinema, about to watch yet another sequel to a forgotten franchise nobody asked for. You're getting popcorn and a drink to drown out your sorrow with a sugar rush. You pay and they hand you a cup. Then you see it, glowing red and chrome, the Coca-Cola Freestyle Fountain. Here you can choose between over 100 different flavors. Cherry, vanilla Coke, peach Sprite, or maybe you'll go crazy and mix Fanta with Powerade. But this machine is way more than just a soda fountain. It's not just serving you a drink, it tracks everything you do. While you're picking your favorite flavor, it's quietly collecting data. Data that turns customers into test subjects. The Coca-Cola company is said to have invested more than $1 billion in this machine, but they're likely turning its capabilities into much bigger profits. Today we're diving into how a drink dispenser became a global lab, and what role you play in all of this. The Coca-Cola company is one of the biggest beverage producers on the planet. The conglomerate controls almost half of the global soda market, making billions in revenue every year. One important way they sold their drinks has long been soda fountains. In the olden days, someone would pour your drink into a cup. Then self-service fountains arrived. However, in 2006, Coca-Cola noticed something worrying. For the first time since 1985, the sales volume of carbonated beverages had declined. People started to focus more on their health, looking for sugar-free and low-calorie options. Coke's fountains weren't ready for that. At that time, only about 1% of Coke fountains in the US offered Diet Coke. Meanwhile, the choice of sodas at convenience stores had increased dramatically. Coke fountains were stuck with the same limited run-up of boring standard flavors, so they had to come up with an idea that would change everything. The Freestyle Fountain's design is interesting. The red, the chrome, the sculpted lines. It looks like it wants to become a Ferrari when it grows up. That's not a coincidence. It was developed with Pininfarina, the legendary Italian design house that shaped the curves of Ferrari itself. You slide your cup under the dispenser. Now comes the fun part. You see dozens of bubbles on the screen. Each is labeled with a different drink. Mezzo Mix, Coca-Cola, Powerade, Lift, Fuse Tea. In total, you could choose over 100 drinks. Back when you were a kid, this would have been impossible. Restaurants use massive 19-liter syrup canisters for every single drink option. Nowadays, all these flavors fit into just about 30 tiny cartridges. The cartridge design is inspired by medical tech, where precise dosing is critical. Just as insulin pumps deliver exact amounts of medication, the Freestyle system carefully meters syrup and carbonated water for each pour. In theory, every pour is perfectly measured, turning your drink into a precise masterpiece. But Coke from a Freestyle fountain actually tends to taste a little different. In contrast to the old canister systems that premix syrup and sweetener, Freestyle keeps flavors, sweeteners, and carbonated water separate. When you press the button, they are combined on demand. This can make your Coke taste slightly different from other preparations. Staring at the bubbly screen, curiosity kicks in. You came in for your usual, but some options here are tempting. You tap the Powerade bubble and a whole lineup appears: Powerade Raspberry, Powerade Lemon, Powerade Strawberry. You can even mix a drink that doesn't exist, creating your own secret flavor. The Freestyle Fountain is fun. It lets you explore, it bewilders, it sparks curiosity. That's exactly the point. Coca-Cola doesn't just want to sell you a beverage, it wants you to feel something. This is called experience marketing. Right here, you're not just choosing a flavor, you're interacting with the brand. Every tap, every bubble pulls you deeper into the Coca-Cola universe. Moments like this make you remember Coke not just as a drink, but as a feeling. Ideally, they want you to go home and tell your friends about that insane machine that let you mix your own Coke. It's all part of Coca-Cola's bigger play, shifting from being just a product brand to an experience brand. Anyways, you go for a Sprite. You didn't even know Sprite Cherry existed. You press the pour button and take a sip. Not half bad. You're not the only one who was curious about Sprite Cherry. All over the world, people have made the exact same choice. Obviously, Coca-Cola didn't offer you this new flavor just for fun. The Freestyle ecosystem is basically a giant testing lab. Every pour, every mix, every flavor you try feeds into a massive experiment, a sampling program on a global scale. With this particular new flavor, the experiment worked. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. When Coca-Cola launched the Freestyle in 2009, reliable wireless networks weren't standard, so Coca-Cola built their own. The network links every Freestyle machine directly to Coca-Cola's back-end systems, managed through SAP software. Think of it as the company's brain. It keeps track of everything happening in real time. Every day, over 50,000 Freestyle machines send data back to this brain. They report everything: which flavors are being poured, what time of day, or how much syrup is left. That is how Coca-Cola discovered that people really like Coke Orange Vanilla, Sprite Cherry, and Coke Cherry Vanilla. Some of these flavors started as user creations, combinations people kept mixing again and again. Others were developed by Coca-Cola. The more people got these, the stronger the signal became. What started as a tiny bubble on screen ultimately moved into full production. With Freestyle, those decisions happen faster than before and are grounded in better data. But there's more. Before Freestyle, staff had to manually check those giant syrup canisters. They used inventory sheets and guesswork to reorder. Freestyle transformed fountain logistics. Every night, the system collects data and figures out how many units of each cartridge needs to be delivered. It's not just based on what you poured yesterday. Algorithms predict demand and even factor and plan promotions. The system automatically creates restocking orders sent straight to the distribution center. Every Freestyle machine on the planet is quietly syncing. Coca-Cola can optimize their entire supply chain, streamline inventory, and improve production schedules. It's safe to assume this alone saves the company millions of dollars. If Coca-Cola is tracking your data in real life, you won't be surprised to learn that your data is exposed everywhere. Every click, search, and form you fill reveals tiny pieces of who you are. That you had to look up how to spell bourgeois, or that you enjoy mixing Sprite and Fanta. With data breaches rising, your personal information is at risk. Shady data brokers sell it, and scammers use it to steal your identity. If they did, they could take out fraudulent loans and cause serious legal headaches. This is where Incogni comes in. It tracks down your personal data across hundreds of sites, from data brokers to people, search platforms, and removes it repeatedly. With the custom removal feature, you can even send links to websites exposing your info, and Incogni will handle it. Just create an account, authorize Incogni, and take back control of your personal data. Get 60% off with our code FERNTV at the link below. Let's get back to Coke's genius machine because there's more. The data streams don't only report back. Marketers at HQ can push new campaigns straight to the Freestyle. It took a while to get to this level. Whenever Coke wanted to push a new campaign, it required a full software update where the machine couldn't pour a drink. So in the mid-2010s, Coca-Cola integrated AirWatch, a modern device management platform. Now, instead of sending out a massive update, they can push tiny data packages. While receiving the configurations, the machine stays fully operational. They simply download and display the new content, like a Halloween special. What happens next is called nudging. A new flavor might be the first bubble you see, or a short teaser video might catch your eye. You're free to pick whatever you want, but those gentle nudges make you more likely to experiment. Thousands of recorded choices to try some bizarre flavor feed directly into Coca-Cola's product development. But wait a minute. This little black dot up there, is that a camera? Is this thing recording you? Coca-Cola did plan to install a camera in one of their Freestyle models. They even included it in their spec sheet, describing it as future capability for motion sensing and facial recognition. This way, the company could track every smile when you mix flavors or every frown when it doesn't taste right. Every reaction is data. But could they really pull this off? In Europe, strict data protection laws would likely not allow this. In the US, however, businesses are increasingly experimenting with facial analysis in public spaces. According to Fortune, in early 2024, AI company Quantify referenced a facial recognition project tied to Freestyle. In a now-removed entry, it reportedly said, each vending machine comes with a camera installed, in which an image is captured for every customer interacting with the machine. Coca-Cola's marketing team aspired to use these images to generate insights on consumer preferences. Reportedly, Quantify built a machine learning model to detect customer demographics. Basically, Coca-Cola could know you're a guy in your 20 seconds grabbing that Sprite cherry. After Fortune asked questions, the post vanished. A spokesperson for Coca-Cola said cameras were just tested in a laboratory setting from 2018 to 2019. When we asked Coca-Cola about this, they did not respond. The creepy camera hole aside, the technology is impressive. A single machine expanding flavor variety, strategically pushing experience marketing, enabling hyper-detailed flavor testing, and optimization of the supply chain. You probably stood in front of one and never had a clue. But there is one central question. How much are they making with this? We went down a rabbit hole of annual reports and filings, only to realize there is no concrete data. Gains from Freestyle are tangled up with other projects. When we reached out to Coca-Cola, they didn't respond. So we called in Yannick, our spreadsheet wizard, to make sense of it. His analysis is split into 3 parts. First, payback. Let's start with Coca-Cola's assumed revenue from Freestyle. To get a baseline, we looked at loyalty programs like Payback. Payback usually returns an estimated 0.5 to 3% of your spending. It works because when people get something in return, they spend more. Payback collects tons of data, what they buy, when, and where. This enables targeted marketing. Studies show loyalty programs can improve gross margins by 2 to 4% because companies can make smarter decisions. Using that logic, we can conservatively assume a 2% margin on revenue for Freestyle. According to one source, Freestyle machines dispense around 4 billion drinks per year. Assuming an average of $2 per drink and a 2% margin, that adds up to roughly $160 million in yearly gains, well over $1 billion since Freestyle's inception. Second, the value of data. In 2015, Coca-Cola teamed up with Hivery, a company focusing on AI-driven optimization. One of Hivery's clients was Ray's Coca-Cola Bottling Co. Hivery's software combines sales data with machine learning to predict demand. Reportedly, Reyes saw a 6% sales increase and a 15% reduction in restocking trips. These numbers suggest that data-driven supply chain management can generate significant sales boosts and cost savings. It is reasonable to assume that Freestyle fountains yield similar results. Third, new flavors. Some of the new flavors Coca-Cola launched based on Freestyle testing turned out about as popular as the disappointing sequel you're going to endure. Take Coke, Cherry, Vanilla. Even though it was a beloved Freestyle combo, Coca-Cola decided to stop producing it in 2024 due to declining demand. Freestyle may help spot promising flavors, but it's not foolproof. Out of 4 flavors brought to market, 2 did not survive. Coca-Cola may have overestimated how representative Freestyle users are. While Coca-Cola rarely publishes concrete sales data, we found a number for one of their newer Sprite products that shows the potential of this market. Sprite Chill generated $50 million in sales in its first 21 weeks in North America. Looking at all 3 aspects of the analysis, one thing is safe to assume. The billions of dollars Coca-Cola invested into these machines has long been made back. The machine isn't just dispensing soda, it's dispensing pure profit.